Most of us kids in the 70s have to remember the song One Toke Over the Line, don't we? The song was released in February of 1971. I remember the first time I heard the song on the radio. Couldn't get it out of my head. Me and my buddies, we'd be walking down the road or riding our bikes singing that song. A few years later, we were singing it in high school as we walked to the designated smoking area. Be humming it as we walked into class. Yeah, it was stuck in my head, and it has been for over 50 years. I sing it and listen to it now, and it just brings back great memories. Now about the two guys who wrote and sang the song, Michael Brewer and Tom Shipley. I guess a few of you out there have never heard of them or know which one is which. Well, we're going to fix that and learn a little more about them two token troubadours. We will laugh a little when we talk about how the song was written and when it was performed on the Lawrence Welk Show as a spiritual number. Before we go any further, I want to thank all the new subscribers for your views and comments. And for those of you that aren't subscribed, I'd appreciate it if you would. And don't forget to ring the bell to get notifications. So now let's kick back, get right, and take a look back at Brewer and Shipley and their hit song, One Toke Over the Line. Michael Brewer was born April 14, 1944 in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. And Tom Shipley was born April 1, 1941 in Mineral Ridge, Ohio. They met for the first time at the Blind Owl Coffee House in Kent, Ohio in 1964. Over the next 3 years, Tom and Michael occasionally crossed paths on the folk circuit. When Tom drifted into L.A., in 1967 to check out the West Coast music scene, he looked up Michael and ended up renting a house around the corner from him, and soon after, they were writing songs together. Their demos for the publishing company exhibited a sound and style of their own, and A&M Records suggested they record their songs themselves. Their first album, Brewer and Shipley, Down in L.A., was released in 1968, with Jimmy Messina and Leon Russell adding their musical magic to the album. But it seemed Brewer and Shipley wasn't digging the West Coast. Even though the music scene was happening there, they decided to head back east and settle down in Kansas City, Missouri, where they formed a company called Good Karma Productions. Then, they finally got a recording contract from Buddha Records in New York. Their second album was Weeds, then Tarkio, which the title song was Tarkio Road, a catchy little tune about a town up in far northwestern Missouri. Also included on that album was a song added at the last minute by request of their record company, and a funny little number called One Toke Over the Line. When we wrote One Toke Over the Line, I think we were one toke over the line, said Tom Shipley. Here's what Michael Brewer had to say. We were playing a little club in Kansas City. We had to do several sets a night, and we were getting ready to go on for our last set. We stepped outside, shall I say, for a breath of fresh air. And we came back in, and Tom said, "Man, I am one toke over the line." And it just cracked me up. I thought it was hysterical. Just right on the spot, I started singing, "One toke over the line, sweet Jesus." And then we went on stage. The next day we got together to pick a little, and I said, "What was that we were messing with last night?" In about an hour, we had a song, just entertaining ourselves. We had no idea it would be a hit. We didn't even think about recording it. In fact, the first time we played Carnegie Hall, we opened for Melanie, and we were working on the Tarkio album. That night, we went over really well and had a couple of encores. And then we basically ran out of songs. We said, let's do that new song. So we did, and everybody loved it. The president of the record company we were with at the time came backstage and said, "Oh man, you got to record that and add it to the LP." We were kind of like, "Really? Oh well, okay." We didn't even take the song seriously. Needless to say, it came as a big surprise to us that they released it. And not only that it was a big hit, but it received so much controversy. The government came down on us. Y'all got to remember, this was back when the Nixon administration and the FCC were threatening radio stations with their licenses if they didn't censor so-called drug lyrics in rock and roll. That even included songs like Puff the Magic Dragon. But the radio station did play it, and it became a major hit for them, reaching number 10 on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100 and number 8 on Cashbox in the spring of 1971. It also reached number 5 in Canada and number 7 in New Zealand. Strangely though, Brewer and Shipley would never have another song break into the top 40. Okay, here is the kicker with all that political controversy. This song was performed on the Lawrence Welk Show in 1971 by a couple named Gail Farrell and Dick Dale. You have to remember now, this was a time when getting busted with a joint could earn you a long prison term. And then to cap it all off, they mentioned Jesus too. My thoughts were, old Lawrence needed the viewers, and the song was such a big hit, so he just played it off as a spiritual song and let the couple do a cheesy version of it.
One toke over the line, sweet Jesus, one toke over the line. Sitting downtown in a railway station, one toke over the line.
It gave all the stoners something to laugh about. I know I still laugh when I watch it. Here's a link for it on YouTube. I'll put it in the comments section below also. Watch it, tell me what you think. I bet Brewer and Shipley cracked up over this. Now to keep it straight, which one is Brewer and which one is Shipley? Well, every time I have ever seen them, Tom Shipley is always positioned stage right, which is the audience's left. Michael Brewer is on stage left, the audience is right. Now why do they set up like this? Who knows? Seems backwards to me since the name is Brewer and Shipley and we naturally go from left to right. Confused yet? Yeah, so am I. Maybe they were one toke over the line when they decided to set up this way. Maybe someone knows the answer. I sure don't. It was good to know that both Brewer and Shipley have settled in Missouri. Michael Brewer lives around the Branson area, and Tom Shipley lives in Rolla. That is only about 150 miles apart. You can get all their information and buy a CD on their website. That is www.brewerandshipley.com. Also, I found Tom has his own personal website at, get ready for this, onetoketom.com. Go check him out. Yes, I remember hearing this song when it was a hit on the radio, and it stuck in my head. As people in the music business say, a good song is a good song, but a hit is a hit. And One Toke Over the Line is a hit. It sticks with you. It has stuck with me for over 50 years. Lots of memories in this song for me. How about you? Ever see them live? I saw them at Mississippi Nights in St. Louis many moons ago. What a blast. Let me hear your Brewer and Shipley stories. Time to close this one out. Let me just say, thanks Brewer and Shipley for making the 70s an even better place. And thank you all for watching. And as always, please give me a like and subscribe if you see fit. And don't forget to ring that notification bell.